طيب بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. I'd like to welcome you all to the second lecture in ICS 104. This is the second lecture of week 2. So any questions before we proceed? Okay. Now, I think you have seen Blackboard, which is basically for our sections, you know, sections 4 and 14. And I hope that you have filled the survey for determining the quiz day. So basically, you know, choose all those that that are suitable for you. And in the second question, if there are any restrictions that, you know, it is impossible for you to attend in a certain, you know, day and a certain time, please put that there. I'll try to basically avoid these times. So I will see, you know, the day and the time that gets the maximum hits. It will be inshallah set as our quiz day, and you have until noon tomorrow. So by Thursday inshallah I will announce the schedule for the quizzes. ماشي يا شباب؟ طيب. So if there are no questions, let me go directly to the slides. Okay. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Fine. Okay. So basically what we did last time is we introduced the concept of variables, right? And we saw how our variables, created basically through assigning them a certain value. And we mentioned that the value determines the type of the variable. And we looked at the assignment statement and how does the assignment statement work. So what we will start doing today is basically to look at the rules for defining variables. I'm not sure whether it was in this section or in the other section. When I put once an assignment statement, one of you mentioned that, well, the left-hand side, if I add the double quotes, would it work or not? Would it work or not? And basically, this slide will actually answer that question. You know, what constitutes a correct variable name and what does not constitute a correct variable name. So, so let's look at the rules now. So the first rule says that names must start with a letter or the underscore character. The underscore character is the one that you get by pressing shift and the hyphen, right? The underscore. So this is the first rule. So any variable name has to start with a letter from A to Z or the underscore. Fine. What about the remaining characters? The remaining characters, if any, must be letters, digits, or underscores. So we can have letters, digits, or underscores as, you know, the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth character, and so on and so forth. Okay? Right. So symbols such as, you know, the question mark, the percentage, the quotation cannot be used in a variable name. Okay? These cannot be used in a variable name. Spaces cannot also exist within a variable name. You cannot have a variable name that looks like two words, right? you cannot have spaces between variable names. Okay, so these are kind of the two rules, the first two rules regarding the the structure of a variable name. What constitutes a variable name. Now, note here also that names are case sensitive. So when you define small x, it is different from capital X. So if you assign small x equal 1 and you type print capital X, it will give you an error. It will say, I haven't seen this variable before. Okay, so names are case sensitive. Reserved words by Python cannot be used as variable names. This is the last rule, which is kind of an exclusion rule, that you cannot use, Python reserved words as variable names. For example, if in the if statement, this is a reserved word. You cannot have a variable called if. You cannot say, if equals something. Okay. Also, the word class is a reserved word. So you cannot have, you cannot have a variable name, called class. Class equals something. This is a reserved word by the programming language. You cannot use as a variable name. These are the rules. Now, whichever sequence of characters you choose, you basically check these rules. If there are no problems with any of these rules, then it is a proper variable name. So let's take the following example, right? And let's see whether these are proper variable names or not. So let's try to write it. So let's start with the first one. Can volume 1.
Yes, proper.
It's proper.
Yes, proper.
صح? So this is proper. طيب, X.
Proper.
Yes.
Yes, because it's starting with a letter. صح? طيب, can volume.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is proper. Six pack.
Not
No.
correct.
Why not?
Start with a
Starts with a
digit.
number.
Start with a number. Not
أيوة, it
Starts with a
digit.
number.
It starts with a digit, right? It starts with a digit. So this is not a proper variable name. طيب, can volume.
No,
no.
not proper.
Why not?
Because of the
Doesn't
space.
have underscore. Well,
Because-
and there is a space between.
Yeah, because of the space, huh? So
Yes.
you cannot have a space, right? You cannot have a space. So this is not right. طيب, class.
Not proper.
No.
Reserved.
It's
Reserved.
reserved by Python.
This is reserved by Python. طيب, liter/fl.oz.
Proper.
Not proper.
ليش proper?
It's not.
It's not proper. Why?
Because
The cipher.
slash.
Because of the slash.
Because of the slash.
Slash and the point.
طيب, وشو رأيكم بالدوت كمان?
The same.
The same.
Okay. So because of these two things, this is not proper. واضح يا شباب ال proper variable names وال improper variable names؟
دكتور.
نعم.
What are the reserved words?
Well, there is a list. If you go to the Python documentation, you will get the list of reserved words. For example, by the way, print, as we mentioned earlier, is a function. So it's not a reserved word. You can actually assign print to something. But if you do that, you will not have access to the function. Okay? You will not have access to the function. واضح? Don't worry, we will not ask you in the exam or in the quiz about a reserve. I mean, you're not supposed to memorize all the reserved words. Okay? Just to rest you assured. Okay? طيب.
Doctor, can I use class with capital C?
مين يجاوبه؟ سؤال جميل. Can I use a class with capital C as a variable name?
Should be yes.
Yes.
You can use a class with capital C as a variable name because or Python is basically case sensitive, right? It is case sensitive. So these are basically the ones that we have done, and I hope that we did not do any mistakes. Huh? Right. Okay. So now we talked about the rules. What constitute a correct variable name, and what constitutes an incorrect variable name. Now what we will talk about is basically recommended variable name conventions. Okay, recommended variable name conventions. So these are recommended conventions that we can use, and we are highly recommended to use, but they are not rules. I mean, if you break them, it does not mean that your Python program will not work. Okay, but these are basically recommendations, right? These are recommendations. So as I mentioned, these are not strict rules for variable names, but are rules of good taste. Okay, rules of good taste that you should respect when writing code. Okay, that you should respect when writing code. So why do we need to respect them? Let's go over them, and then I will ask you this question. Okay, keep that question in mind. Right. The first one, it says, use a descriptive name such as cans per pack than a terse name such as CPP. CPP, yeah, cans per pack. Well, if you are in front of this slide and you can see cans per pack and I see CPP, yeah, I can relate it to cans per pack, right? But if you see it in the middle of a program, CPP, what does CPP mean? Maybe it could be C++, huh? So it's not that, it's not that, it doesn't tell you much if you use abbreviations like this. So if the variable name consists of more than one word, start the subsequent words with a capital letter. So we started cans with a small letter because this is the first word, but then since these are subsequent words, it's good to start the subsequent words with capital letter. So now it becomes much more obvious than if I did something like this. Can you see the difference?
Yes, you cannot differentiate between the words.
Is this cans per pack or cans per pack? Is it 2 words? Is it 3 words? صح؟ طيب. So this is نعم.
If I use CPP, but I wrote in the comment that CPP stands for cans per pack. Is it okay like this or not?
It's okay, but you have to do it every time you use CPP. صح ولا لا؟
Yes.
we're back to square one. فاit's better to just use cans per pack وخلاص. Okay. طيب. So this is the first rule of good taste. A second rule of good taste is that a variable starts with a small letter, right? A variable starts with a small letter. Let me bring this back to where it was. Okay. طيب. A constant consists of all capital letters. So if I want to, define a constant, I will define the constant with all letters capitalized. Okay. طيب. What if I have 2 or more words in the constant? Well, of course, I cannot capitalize because they are all capital. So I use the underscore between the words. Okay. I use the underscore between the words. We have seen, for example, can volume. We have seen maybe can volume. So this is this will tell you that this is a constant. Finally, a user-defined data type starts with a capital letter. Now, of course, we will not deal with user-defined types until chapter 9, but usually if you see a word that starts with a capital letter, okay, and the rest are small. And if it's more than one word, you have the other subsequent words, you know, the first letter is capitalized. Then you would realize that, well, this is a user-defined type. Okay, this is a user-defined. This is a user-defined type. So again, these are rules of good taste. These are not enforced, right? So I can define a user, you know, a user-defined type with all capital letters, and I can define a constant with all small. Okay, I can do that, but these are rules of good taste. Right. So now, after I told you this, why do you think it's important to, you know, observe these rules of good taste, although they are not enforced by the language?
I
Why
think
do you think?
it has to do with when you face a problem with the coding, if you want to correct them, you may face difficulties determining if this variable is user-defined or it is uh, like a constant or it is just a variable. So it's easy and to save time.
Okay, very good. What else?
I think if there are more one programmer working in the same program,
Hmm.
once you finish your work, your part work, and the other one would like to complete, he knows what you were doing.
Exactly. So basically, both of your answers, you know, hint toward a very important concept, which is readability of the program. It will be very easy for me, you know, when I read Python code and I see something which is written as all capitalized with underscore between words, the first thing that comes to my mind that this is a constant. I recognize it that this is a constant. صح? I recognize that this is a user-defined data type. This cannot be a variable. I know that this is a variable. So it will make, you know, reading, you know, programs easier, right? And if somebody would like to, you know, I don't know, torture the one who reads his code, then let him use, you know, different, you know, different, you know, rules or conventions. So it's really good and it's really helpful, you know, to stick to this convention. Okay, it's really helpful to stick to this convention. طيب.
Doctor,
نعم.
when you have an assignment, are we going to restrict to these rules? Because we might face like time issues and we need to finish it as fast as possible.
Well, maybe in the first or يعني the first one or two homework assignments, there might be, you know, some points dedicated to the use of, you know, good convention, good Python convention. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
So you need to, you know, accustom yourself to it. Okay. طيب. So let's go back to the ones that we have seen, and let's see the proper variable names, you know, do they follow the good convention or they do not follow the good convention? So for example, this one, does it follow the good convention?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
It starts with a small letter, subsequent words start with a capital letter. So it does follow the good convention. Right, what about this?
No.
What does it tell you, X? I mean, unless this is in the context, you know, of solving an equation, right? Using X like this does not tell you anything. Huh? It's not, you know, it doesn't say what does it store inside, right? What is stored inside X? It doesn't tell you anything. So this is not, you know, following the good convention. Can volume.
No. User defined.
أيوة. See, it violates the convention, not the rules. So if you use it in the program will work 100%. Right? But it violates the convention that variable names should start with a small letter. This looks like a user-defined data type. This looks like a user-defined data type. Okay. واضح يا شباب؟
Yes.
Any question? Okay, so let's come now to constants. So what are constants? Well, a constant variable, or simply we usually say a constant, is a variable whose value should not be changed after it has been assigned the initial value. Whose value should not be changed after it is assigned its initial value. Now, some high-level languages provide an explicit mechanism of declaring constants. So does that mean that Python does not? Yes, Python does not. So what do these other languages do? For example, C. Well, C has a mechanism of defining, well, you know, if you want this as a constant, then you use a certain keyword in declaring it, okay? Or you use hash define somewhere. Now, any attempt to change it after it has been assigned in these languages will generate a syntax error. In these languages will generate a syntax error, not in Python. Not in Python. Python leaves it to the programmer to make sure that constants are not changed. To make sure that constants are not changed. Again, this is because they wanted Python to be an easy to write language. Okay? Okay? The creator of Python wanted to have Python easy to write. So he's not really worried about, you know, constants and following whether, you know, somebody is trying to change the constant. He puts it on the shoulders of the programmer. If you define something to look like a constant, when you use, you know, capitalized letters, please do not change its value later on. Okay? So, hence, the use of all capital letters for naming constants tell you and other programmers that you should not change the value of this variable once it is assigned. Okay? But you can. And it is correct. But this really violates the convention of Python. Okay? This really violates the convention of Python. That's why, if you notice here, it is called a constant variable because it's still a variable. It's not a special, you know, data type within the language. Okay? It's just a variable. So there is no way of enforcing, you know, the rule that, you know, you cannot change it. Okay? You cannot change it in Python. Right. So, so constants can make code much more understandable. That's why, in fact, we use constants. For example, let's compare these two statements. You know, total volume equal bottles times 2, and total volume equals bottles times bottle volume. So the 2 here, it looks like a magic word, huh? A magic number. Why 2? Right? Why 2? Whereas in the second statement, it actually tells you that, you know, well, you are multiplying the number of bottles by the volume of each bottle. And so this gives you total volume. So this makes a lot of, you know, perfect sense. Okay. Now, it is not only this, you know, benefit of defining constants. There is an even much bigger benefit for defining constants. And this is evident here. What happens if the bottle volume is changed from 2 to 2.5? Okay, assume that, you know, the company that makes this soft drink, you know, decided to use 2.5 bottle volume, or volume, bottles of volume 2.5. Now, if I use this, what do I have to do in my program?
You have to change. You have to change
Change
two
it in all
with
lines.
2.5.
I need to go over all the lines that uses this 2 as the bottle volume and by hand change it to 2.5, صح? طيب. In this case, what do I have to do?
Only change the bottle volume number.
That's it.
Assign a new variable called bottom value.
لا مش new variable, new value. صح؟ You override, so you had bottle volume equal to, you make it ايش؟ bottle volume equal مثلا
2.5.
That's it.
But it will show syntax error or what?
ليش it will show syntax error؟
Because I changed the constant.
مين يرد عليه؟
احنا قلنا هذا يصير في الهاي ليفل لانجوج بس ما يصير في البايثون.
This is not in Python.
بايثون غير.
في يا دكتور فانكشن تثبت الكود في البايثون او الكونستنت اسمها مو جاي في بالي حاليا.
أنا ما عندي علم فيها. لكن the rules for defining constants and is that there is no specific, you know, data type called constant in Python. Okay. طيب. Okay. So as we said in the second case, all what we need to do is just change it in one line. طيب. Now let's come to comments. We already have seen comments. So as your programs get more complex, you should add comments, which are basically explanations for human readers of your code. For example, you know, when you do something like this, when you define the can volume to be 0.355, well, it's good to have this comment, you know, this is the liters in a 12-ounce can. So you know what does that, where is this 0.35, you know, what does it, you know, come from, or you know, is it liters, is it milliliters, is it, I don't know, ounces, right? So it basically clarifies, you know, what is this 0.35. Right. Now, this comment explains the significance of the value 0.355 to a human reader. The Python's interpreter does not execute comments at all. We mentioned this before. It ignores everything from the pound sign until the end of the line. Okay? All this is basically ignored. All this is basically ignored. Right. So why we write comments? Well, because it helps programmers who read your code understand your intent. Not only that, but even you, after you write code, especially if it was like maybe 100 lines code or 200 lines code, if you look at it after a month, you might forget, you know, why did you do this? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? Yani, you will need to, you know, debug the whole code again to decipher it, you know, to know what's going on. But if you add comments, it will become, it's in front of you. Oh, this is here, I'm sorting. Here I'm, you know, changing the two variables values, I'm exchanging them. Here I'm doing this, here I'm doing that. So it becomes, you know, easier to understand, you know, the code and the lines of code. So how to write comments? Well, you can provide a comment at the top of your source file that explains the purpose of the program, and your book follows the following style. So it starts with, you know, 2 pound signs and then pound sign, and then, you know, this program computes the volume in liters of a 6-pack of soda cans, and you know, another one, and then you will see the code beneath. Again, this is kind of a convention, and the convention here is not, you know, as important as the, you know, the recommendations for variable names or the recommendations for, you know, constants and user-defined types. These are much more important than this. Okay. Right. So let's try to solve the problem at the beginning of this chapter, right? Soft drinks, which is more economic. And we know now what do we need to do in order to solve this problem. We need basically to find the volume of a 6-pack of cans, right? And compare it to the 2, which is the volume of the bottle, the volume of the bottle. So, so basically the solution steps is to compute the total volume. you get when you buy a six-pack, okay? When you buy a six-pack. Right. How do we find the total volume? Well, we need to find the one can volume. So we are going to store it in can volume, right? And we need to define, well, how many cans in a pack, right? And this will be in the cans per pack. And then we are left with just, computing the total volume to be cans per pack multiplied by can volume, okay? And finally, we print the total volume. At this point, we cannot compare between the two because we did not take the F statement, okay? We did not take the F statement. We did not take the decisions. So we will do that later. He will just, print the result, and you as a user, you will see, which one is more economic. So now you can compare the total volume to the value 2 and determine, which one to buy. So this is basically the program. As you can see, it's following the conventions for the comments, and then here comments for liters in a 12-ounce can and a 2-liter bottle. So the can volume is this, the bottle volume is that, the number of cans per pack. This is cans per pack. As you can see that this is a volume, this is a variable, so which hints that you might have more than one size. Like when you go to the supermarket, you can find a 6-pack, you can find the 12-pack, you can find a 24-pack, right? Right. So after we define the two constants and this variable, now we are ready to compute the total volume in the cans. What is the total volume? Well, it's the cans per pack multiplied by the can volume. Okay, it's and of course, so this will give you the 6-pack of 12-ounce cans contains that much or that many liters. Okay, that many liters. Right. I need somebody to tell me what does this do?
It calculates the volume of the bottle and the cans.
It calculates the volume of the bottles and the cans. Although this is not part of our question, but this is what your textbook decided to put. Okay, to basically find the total volume of the bottles and the cans. So now if I want to run it, all what I need to do is shift enter. Okay, and as you can see here, a 6-pack of 12-ounce cans contain 2.13 liters. So now, based on this, which one is more economic, the 6-pack or the one bottle?
The 6-packs.
The 6-pack. The 6-pack is more economic, and a 6-pack and a 2-liter bottle contain 4.13 liters. 2 plus 2.13 is basically 4.13. Okay, 4.13. Any question, ya shabab? Any question? طيب. I have an issue with this code. It's not following the conventions very well. Anybody can see that issue? And I have a problem with this.
Sometimes it's using uppercase and low score, and the other times it's using regular text with the first one low case.
No, it's using it correctly because it's using this one for the constants, and it uses this one for variables.
Maybe
it's correct.
for the cans per pack, it's a constant, but he did not use it.
Well, this is debatable. Just like he said the can volume and the bottle volume as constant. Well, why didn't you set the cans per pack as a constant? So this is debatable, but as I said, and I gave justification. You might have more than one type of a pack. 6 12 24 30 40 صح that was my يعني in my defense of this, but no, I have even a bigger problem.
Total volume was used twice for two different things.
Yes, this is what I was looking for. See, total volume, what is total volume? See, in the first context, in this line, total volume was the volume of the six-pack, right? And total volume here is the volume of the six-pack and the bottle. So how would I change this?
Assign new variable called
define a
total.
new variable called six-pack volume, صح? So can I use this like this? You know, six-pack volume.
Start
No, because of the number.
أيوة. صادني صح؟ Make it like this.
Yes.
شايفين يا شباب؟ Six-pack volume. So six-pack volume, and I will in here it will become six-pack volume. This one also becomes six-pack volume. Now I'm satisfied with the code.
دكتور
نعم.
ما فهمت الكانس بير باك نعتبرها constant ولا variable؟
As I said, it is debatable. يعني you can consider it, if you want, you can consider it as a constant. But then if I change the size of the pack from 6 to 12, because I might have more than one size.
تعتمد على الحالة.
But it depends really. يعني فيها صح وغلط. تمام؟ واضح يا شباب؟
Doctor, you expect us to write comment on each line or each
والله يعني it's maybe not each line. As you can see, for example, for these two lines, there was one comment. But you will definitely lose points if I see only one comment in a 15 or 20 lines of code.
Even if I get the last answer and
even if you get the last answer.
Okay.
See, this is not only to teach you how to write, correct programs. We also want you to write correct programs correctly.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Final tips on variables. Do not use undefined variables. We have seen maybe that the other day. When you say, for example, can volume is 12 times liter per ounce. Well, liter per ounce does not exist with it. It has not been defined. So this will give an error. صح? If you want to fix this, what do you need to do?
Replace it. Put
Yeah.
the liter per ounce first.
Put liter per ounce at the top, and then you say can volume equal 12 times whatever, right? Choose descriptive variable names. So can volume instead of CV, right? Can volume instead of CV. Do not use magic numbers like 0.355. Whenever you see a number like this in the code, it is, a candidate of being called a magic number. Fine. Let's now start with arithmetic. So basic arithmetic operators are supported by Python, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. These are called operators, okay? These are called operators. The combination of variables, literals, operators, and parentheses is called an arithmetic expression, right? So this is called an arithmetic expression, right? This is called an arithmetic expression. Like, the mathematical formula, a plus b divided by 2, is written in Python as follows. A plus b between brackets divided by 2. Now, why do I have the brackets or the parentheses?
To execute the a plus b first and then divided by 2.
Exactly, to determine in which order the parts of the expression are computed, right? To determine the order. For example, if I remove the parentheses, if the parentheses look like this, what is this?
B over 2 plus A.
Aywa. So this is B over 2, and then we have, this is what happens when you write with a mouse. A plus B over 2. This is A plus B over 2. This is different from this. Okay, this is different from that. So Python uses the exponential operator, the star star, to denote the power operation. Okay, so for example, a square, we can write it as a to the power 2. We can write it as a to the power 2.
Can we use the pow function?
I'm not sure. Is there a pow function in Python?
Yes,
if there is a pow
is.
function, then you can use the pow function. Yes. Okay. Right. So precedence of arithmetic operators. Python uses the precedence rules for algebraic notation, and they are kind of exactly the same as their counterparts in math or when you took math. So the highest precedence goes for the parentheses. The highest precedence goes to parentheses. Then you have the power. Then you have the multiplication and division. And finally, you have the addition and the subtraction. Okay, you have the addition and the subtraction. So, for example, well, before the example, let's also talk about associativity, and then we will take an example. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are what we call left associative. Left associative. What do we mean by left associative? We mean if we have 10 plus 2 plus 3, then we first evaluate 10 plus 2, and then we evaluate this result plus 3. So it is something like this. Okay? Now, since addition is associative by itself, it doesn't matter, right? Whether you do it this way or that way. It doesn't matter whether you do it this way or that way. But in other cases, it matters. In other cases, it matters. Okay? Fine. Note that when two operators of the same precedence follow each other, they are also evaluated from left to right. So if you have 10 plus 2 minus 5, well, it will first evaluate 10 plus 2, and then it will subtract the 5. If you have 10 minus 5 plus 2, it will first evaluate 10 minus 5, and then it will evaluate plus 2. Okay? Right. So all these four operations are left associative. The power operator is right associative. So it is evaluated from right to left. So this one, 10 to the power 2 to the power 3, is evaluated as, if I want to put parentheses, where should I put the parentheses, ya shabab? Where should I put the parentheses? لا.
Between 2 and 3.
Because it is right, associative. This will be evaluated first. 2 to the power 3 is equal to 8, right? And then I will compute, 10 to the power 8. And then I will compute 10 to the power 8. Now look at this and compare it with what if I do as, one of you mentioned just a minute ago. If I do this, 10 to the power 2 is how much?
100.
100. To the power 3?
10 to the power 6.
It's 10 to the power 6, not 10 to the power 8. Okay, so it makes a difference. So here it makes a difference. So remember that the power operator is right associative. The rest are left associative. Fine. So let's end with this example. So if I consider this mathematical expression, b times 1 plus r divided by 100 to the power to the power 2. How do I evaluate it?
First thing, R divided by 100.
Right. So, before that, what are the operators that we have? Well, we have multiplication, addition, division, parentheses, and power. So which one has the highest precedence?
Parentheses.
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 So this is what I will concentrate first, right? So I need to worry about the parentheses. I need to worry about the expression in the parentheses, okay? I need to worry about the expression in between the parentheses. So in the expression between the parentheses, what is in the between the parentheses? We have two operators, addition and division. Which one is higher?
Division.
Division. So as he mentioned, we will start with the R over 100. Okay, we will start with the R over 100. Okay, طيب. And then after that,
you add one.
We need the addition, right? So we evaluate the addition, 1 plus, R divided by 100. Now with this, we are done with the parentheses, right? So parentheses first, and then division, and then addition. طيب. Next, what do we have?
The power.
The power, because now we are left with the power and the multiplication. Which one is higher? The power is higher. So
the power.
This means that this is 1 plus R over 100 to the power n. And then finally, what do we do?
Multiply it by b.
We multiply it by b.
Multiply it by b.
We multiply it by b. So finally, we carry out the multiplication, to get the mathematical expression b times 1 plus R over 100 to the power n. واضح يا شباب؟ So here you need to know two things. If I give you a Python expression, you need to tell me, well, what is it about? Okay. Maybe the more important one is, if I give you an expression, I need to make sure that you can convert this expression into the proper Python expression. Okay. طيب. Okay, so we are done today. This is basically what I wanted to. Do. Any questions? Any questions? Maybe shall I give you an expression and you tell me, the order of evaluation?
Yes.
Right. So let's do this. Let me say A B to the power 2 minus 5 divided by 7. يلا يا شباب.
2 minus 5.
لا لحظة شوي. No, wait. What I will do is, let me, I'd like to use this breakout rooms, okay? Let's break out for maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then we'll come back, and I would like to see your solutions on the chat. إيش رأيكم? Let me do that. So, I need basically 3 in each room. Okay, and let's go. أنا كأني خربشت حطيت okay, just a second. It's as if I have put 15 in each room.